This is a big week on the legal news front, whether you use TikTok as a content creator or user. Is this ban going into effect on January 19th? The case is at the U.S. Supreme Court. I want to update you on that. Also, we've got BOIs sitting at the U.S. Supreme Court as well. This is the requirement that you have to file a business ownership information report for your LLCs or corporations with the federal government. Is that constitutional or not? That's sitting at the U.S. Supreme Court. And then last but not least, Jean Laguerre, Grant Cardone.
I believe that in the next year, Grant Cardone will be found guilty of fraud. I believe that Grant Cardone will be found guilty of fraud, and I want nothing to do with it.
Sue Jean Laguerre in a defamation lawsuit, and Jean Laguerre has finally came out and apologized for the statements he has made. Presumably they have settled. I want to give you an update on that and what you should know about what you should and should not say when talking about other people online. TikTok is set to be banned on January 19th, but right now the case is sitting at the U.S. Supreme Court pending a decision from the Supreme Court about whether the First Amendment protects TikTok's rights to operate as a business. Now, the issue here, of course, is the foreign ownership and control of TikTok. This is Chinese owned. There's concerns about manipulation of information and data being had. That was the purpose of this law. But what's at stake right now is whether you can be on TikTok. Maybe you're a content creator or you love TikTok, and are you going to be able to log in and use this next week? Now, to me, the most critical thing here is President Donald Trump taking office on January 20th, one day after the TikTok ban takes effect. Now, as president, he will not be able to revoke that ban. This was a law passed by Congress, already signed into law. Trump alone cannot rescind that ban. So what happens at the U.S. Supreme Court is what matters in this case. Now, what Trump has argued for with filing of a brief at the U.S. Supreme Court is essentially giving more time for TikTok to sell its ownership. Now, rumor has it Elon Musk might be one of the candidates to acquire TikTok. Mr. Beast has thrown his hat in the ring to buy TikTok. Now, no matter what Trump wants, Elon Musk, Mr. Beast, doesn't matter. The U.S. Supreme Court gets the final word on this. They get to interpret the Constitution and whether the First Amendment protects ByteDance or not. So stay tuned. I'll be updating you here. Well, the BOI case is sitting at the U.S. Supreme Court, and all the briefs have been filed by both sides. Even attorney generals from 25 states have put in their opinion on this, saying, let the BOI law go down. It is unconstitutional. Let us, the states where you file your LLC or corporation, handle this. Federal government, get out of the way. Now, this BOI case is all about whether the federal government can require LLC owners and corporations to file a filing to FinCEN that discloses anyone who owns 25% or more of a corporation or someone who has substantial control of any entity, LLC or corporation. Now, as a lawyer, we set up hundreds of LLCs and corporations a month for clients. I have dozens of entities myself where we've had to file the BOI because starting in 2024, this was a new legal requirement. But in December, a federal district court in Texas said this law is actually unconstitutional. The federal government does not have jurisdiction to do this. This is not a federal power. It's something that should be reserved for the states. 3 weeks later, right before Christmas Eve, a 3-judge panel of a federal appeals court called the Fifth Circuit said, actually, this law is constitutional and you need to file this, and you need to file it before December 31st. Then 3 days after that, right after Christmas, before New Year's, the Fifth Circuit merit panel overruled the other Fifth Circuit panel and said, actually, this law does look unconstitutional and you don't need to file it. Now, that's where we're sitting right now. That last order from the Fifth Circuit saying it is unconstitutional is where we're sitting. And the Fifth Circuit said, we're going to slow this case down. They scheduled oral argument for the end of March here of 2025. So the Fifth Circuit is not moving quickly on this. It's going to be till March. Now the case is sitting at the U.S. Supreme Court, and one justice, Samuel Alito, is the one that will decide whether the U.S. Supreme Court is going to take this case. So we are awaiting Justice Alito's decision on whether the U.S. Supreme Court is going to even accept this case. But a lot at stake, really important for you if you're a business owner, setting up an LLC or corporation. Do you need to file this BOI requirement or not? Make sure you're subscribed. I'm going to be, of course, updating you on that. Any cases or decisions coming out, I'll be providing you details here. And the last bit of news here is there was an apology letter from Jean Laguerre to Grant Cardone. What was this apology letter all about? Well, Jean Laguerre went on Clubhouse with Grant Cardone and called him a fraud. Jean Laguerre is the former CEO of T-Mobile, big public figure. Grant Cardone, real estate mogul, best-selling author, 10X, said, I'm not going to let those words stand. Those are affecting me and harming me in my business. I am damaged from them. I'm not able to raise as much capital or provide services to customers I otherwise would have been able to do in my business, and sued Legere. Now, Legere tried to get the case kicked out. He filed the motion to dismiss. A judge denied it. The case was moving forward. But out of the blue here, on social media the other day, we see an apology letter from Jean Legere to Grant Cardone saying he regretted the statements he made, gave a number of compliments to Grant Cardone, and it seems like they have settled whatever beef was out there. And it looks like Legere did not want to stand by what he said, did not want to go through a legal and court process and have his butt on the line. It looks like the case has been resolved and there's a big win there for Grant Cardone. Now, we're only 3 weeks into the year here and there's been massive legal updates, so make sure you're subscribed here. I'll be keeping you informed. And keep in mind, my channel is all about helping you save taxes, protect your assets, grow and build wealth. I'm Matt Sorensen. We'll see you next time.